All right. Well, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Tonight we are making adobo. But before we start, let me just tell you more about myself, the culture, the food. So I moved here a few years, well, not a few years ago. It's actually almost 30 years ago. I worked in finance for about 15 years and uh, started Kulinarya while I was working full time. And My love for food and my passion for our culture and my goal to share it to everyone um, has has finally happened, and that's Culinaria. Got a little crazy and opened another one after a few years, and now it's pandemic. We're still here, so I'm just really happy, and we're very happy with the support of our community and the government. So adobo, has everyone tried it before? I know someone said that they've tried it or they've tried making it before. Adobo is actually a very versatile dish. It's a comfort food. Everyone can make it. You can change it up. You can make it with either chicken, pork, beef, sometimes seafood, um, and it uses a lot of garlic. The more garlic you put in, the merrier. And it really is, there's no right or wrong in making it. You can adjust it according to your taste. So that's why I chose this dish, because it's really easy to use to make. So I let's start. Is everyone ready? All right. Okay, so tonight I'm using skinless chicken thigh because this is what I have at home. Yeah, I you can, as I said, you can use like for chicken, you can use thigh. We usually it's more flavorful if you uh, use like the bone, like it's bone in chicken. But if you want it a little bit, you want to make it healthier, you can use breast as well. But for tonight, yeah, this is what I have in my freezer. So this is what we're making: chicken thigh, boneless chicken thigh. And so this recipe is good for four people, and it's actually best eaten with rice. So for this recipe, you'd probably spend a, probably under $15. So this chicken, you can just add all the ingredients. For the ingredients, we have, of course, garlic. This is the main ingredients. Garlic and vinegar would be the two main ingredients of this dish. So garlic, vinegar, soy sauce. So soy sauce is about what did I say here in the recipe? 6 tablespoons soy sauce, and then vinegar that I added earlier is 1/4 cup. I think I sent out the instructions and the recipe, so you can also check that out. So that's that, and I don't have the peppercorn, the whole peppercorn in my pantry, so we can use this. So as I said, it's whatever you have in your pantry, you can just put it in. And what else? Oh, sugar. Some people like to put sugar in their adobo. I love the sweet and savory taste, sweet and savory flavor in any of my dishes. You'll find if you go to my restaurant, like it's always the sweet and savory flavor that I have there. But yeah, for this one, I'm adding a tablespoon of brown sugar. You can also use white sugar, and then bay leaves. So we're marinating this for 1 to 2 hours. And then you just want to make sure that it's all covered and marinated well. There you go. Okay, so let's just pretend that it's already 1 to 2 hours. So let's just start with high heat for now, and then we'll turn it down after a few minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna boil this. So some people actually fry it first to give it that nice color, but this one this is a different, like this is a sort of a one pot the easiest way to make the adobo. And then I'll just add a little bit of water. So I think I promised adobo with a twist. So this is the traditional adobo without, like it's with vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, and the bay leaves. But this is the twist. I'm adding coconut milk. So there you go. So that's about I'd say half a cup of coconut milk. Okay. So we'll cover it and simmer for about 30 minutes. And we'll see what happens after 30 minutes. Any questions so far?
I have a really dumb question.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, even though it outs me as being super ignorant. I always thought adobo was a Mexican dish. Is it strictly Filipino, or does it cross culture?
It's a cross culture. Filipino cooking is a melting pot of all the countries and all those that conquered us, right, for many, many years. So adobo is basically Spanish, but Spanish like from Spain. So yeah, it's all these crossbreed of cultures, influences, and trades. So this is, I guess, not I guess, but it's the Filipino way. It's the Filipino adobo now, right? But yes, the Mexicans do have their adobo as well, but theirs is not vinegar based. So that's, I guess, the difference. Yeah. So I made use of the coconut milk, and some, like, different regions would have different versions of adobo. Like Manila, where I'm from, so that's in Luzon. Like because my mom too loves cooking with coconut milk, so hence the coconut milk in the adobo. But a lot of regions, like different regions, would have their own version. Some don't make use of soy sauce. Some use fish sauce, right? So it's really, really versatile. As you can also try making it with balsamic vinegar as opposed to just white vinegar. I've made it with balsamic vinegar, and It's actually really amazing. It's just that the color is it makes it too dark, right? So you're yeah. If you can also mix it with just some white vinegar, balsamic vinegar, and balsamic vinegar gives it a really, really different flavor, and it's really amazing. Yeah. What else? Let's see. Let's check our adobo.
How much garlic did you put in there?
How much? Sorry.
Garlic.
Garlic. I used 1 head garlic, about 10 cloves. Wow. Yeah, 10 to 12. As I said, the more, the better. Like I would use, like, just for the sake of this recipe, I put 1 head garlic, but yeah, I think you should put more. And then again, for the sugar. Oh, and you can make this recipe gluten-free as well by using gluten-free soy sauce, or not even using soy sauce at all, right? It's just vinegar, and then fish sauce could be a substitute for it. What else? There's some, today we're making adobo with a little bit of sauce. So some people like it dry, so they fry it after. But this recipe will because of the coconut milk, will have a little bit of sauce. And
so you fry it? Are you saying you fry it after you cook it?
Pardon me?
You fry it?
Yeah, some people fry it before cooking. If I fry it, I fry it before I boil it, before I simmer it, right? But some people actually set aside the soup, the broth, and then fry it and then put it back after. So yeah, that's how versatile this dish is, and it will come out, good. Anyway, it like any other way you make it.
Sort of a fail-safe recipe.
Pardon me?
A fail-safe recipe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's kind of my kind of recipe.
Yeah, my husband don't usually cook, but this is like, when he cooks, this is what he makes because it's easy. Yeah.
Rose, I had a question. I admit that I'm not very familiar with Filipino food. Mm-hmm. So with adobo, is that typically sort of like everybody makes it as like a comfort cooking? Is it used at special feast days or like?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Every household have their own version of adobo, right? And every dish is better than your dish, but that's why it's so, and I actually, when I was thinking of, when I was creating the menu for Kulinarya, I was having second thoughts on whether to add the adobo, because I know that everyone makes adobo and everyone has their own version of adobo. So I was like, oh my gosh, people might just criticize my version and stuff like that, right? But you know what? It never fails. Everyone who comes in, it's like they still order adobo because they would like to try other people's version, right?
Yeah.
So when they go to Kulinarya, they're like, oh, why? Because we, at one point, we also deep fried our adobo and then just poured the sauce on top, right? And then they were like, oh, I've never had this before. Oh, this is different. Oh, this is so all sorts, right? But I reverted back to the traditional adobo where we found that it's, people still like the traditional adobo. So yeah.
And you were saying, as we gathered, that you had created Kulinarya because Filipino food wasn't very well known in this area. And so
Yes,
how did you end up deciding, you know, so the adobo, you kind of had those decisions. How do you decide like what other things to include?
I guess when you, I love food, I love eating out, and I'm really passionate, and I'm very proud of our culture. And the only way I can promote it is by way of my restaurant, right? So when I was creating the dishes, when I was creating the menu, I of course I had to call my mom. She passed away now, but at the time when I told her, it was so funny because when I told her about it, I said, "Mom," and this was when I still was working full time, and I was like, "Mom, I I want to open a restaurant. It's just a small one, probably 10, 12 seats." And she was so opposed to it, right? It's like, yeah. And she was like, no, 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 don't do that. Like, it's so hard. Yeah. And then, and then she said, why don't you just open your garage door and then put a table, set up a table, put 4 pots, and then, yeah, just sell them to your neighbors first, right? And then I'm like, Mom, this is not the Philippines. We don't do that. There's health issues that we have to deal with. So yeah, no. But no, a lot of the dishes are from her. A lot of the dishes that are on the menu are inspired by my mom. Like these dishes that my favorite dishes that she makes for us, and dishes that I make for my kids, my family. So I used to entertain a lot when we first moved here, because we were missing like we miss it back home, right? So we were also homesick, and we would gather, and we would, I would invite people over, and it sort of became a tradition. Like at least once a month they would come in, I'd cook a meal, and then it became a business afterwards. And I'm like, okay guys, like it's time to start charging you all. So yeah, no, but it was still, I would, after work, I would go to the restaurant in high heels, serving and talking about the food. And yeah, that was how many years? That was 14 years ago. And we decided, we opened this other one, and the same thing, the same process. I would still consult my mom, and I would still, I kept some of the dishes, but I added a few more of the dishes that she used to make, especially because while we were in the process of opening it, she passed away. And so yeah, while I was testing it, there were dishes there that I didn't allow my cooks to cook. It was just me who would make this one dish. It's called callos. It's a Spanish dish. It makes use of tripe and tomato sauce. So I would only make it because that's how I felt connected with her. And so yeah, so that was that. But so these are dishes that they mean a lot to me. They mean personally, and then of course for my family, my children, and most especially my mom. Yeah, these are all mostly her dishes. But of course, we've as we expand, we have to adapt, and we have to make some changes. But yeah, this is all based from my childhood experience and my mom's inspiration. My mom's my inspiration for all these. Yeah,
that's so special.
Yeah, no, it's food has has a great way of touching people's lives, right? And bringing people together. Like right now, I have 6 people there. My children are here. My sister, they're all waiting for me.
Hurry up and finish cooking.
After this.
We know what they're having for dinner.
Like that.
We know what they're having for dinner.
So we're gonna have the adobo, and then I'm making something else. So yeah, I'm making kare-kare. That's also a very traditional. It's made with peanuts too, and it's with beef. So yeah. Okay, let's check our adobo. Wow. Yeah, there you go. It's almost done. I think we just need to simmer it now, like with uncovered, so that we can thicken the broth, and then it should be done. So if you would like to kind of fry it to make it to give it that color, to brown the chicken, the meat, you can separate the sauce from the chicken, and then just fry it separately, and then pour it, and then you can adjust the broth after, and then pour it on the chicken after. So you can do it that way, or you can just do it, make it as we are making it tonight. So I think it's safe to our chicken is cooked, and I can try it. I'll try it. I'll tell you if it's good. It's perfect.
That's the beauty of being on video. Even if it wasn't, then you could still say it's perfect.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and one thing about the adobo, the longer you keep it, the better it tastes, because of the vinegar. I believe it's because of the vinegar. But yeah, the more flavorful it gets when you actually keep it for a few days. So these are dishes that are, it keeps well, and yeah, it's the longer it keeps, the better it tastes.
Good leftovers.
Yeah, good leftovers to eat. That's what my daughter said.
Does
Okay.
anybody else have any questions?
I guess I would have a question. Just what else would you do for a different twist? Like, so if you were doing pork, would it be exactly the same recipe, or do you change it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, with beef, you just have to cook it more longer. So with beef, I'd say, because this one would only take about 20 to 30 minutes, I'd say, to cook the whole thing, especially if you're just boiling it. It's very it cooks in 20 to 25 minutes. But for beef, yeah, because you have,
what would you use for beef?
For beef, I would recommend beef brisket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that would probably take an hour to cook.
Okay.
An hour. And when it's like kind of shredding and like it's really tender, that's the best. That's the best. Yeah. For chicken too, like I would, if it's just, if I have other parts of chicken, like I would use the drumstick. Right at the restaurant, we make use of chicken leg and thigh, just for presentation purposes, because it looks like, like it's a big, like it's just it for presentation purposes. It's we're making the leg and thigh, so we serve it. We make 2 pieces of the leg and thigh, and then we're basically making it the same way that I'm showing you right now. What else?
And pork, would you use a pork
Pork,
loin?
yes. There's actually a chicken and pork adobo, which is what most people like. I have, chicken pork adobo is, for me, the best way to make it. Like the chicken, pork adobo for me is tastier than chicken. So yeah. But that's just me. And then some people make it with pork belly as well, right? But
With
of course,
fat.
like it's crispy shredded. Oh yeah, there's also so my daughter is saying something in the background. So because we've also made it with this chicken adobo, we shred it and we make it crispy. So we call it crispy chicken adobo. So and then what else? What else have we made?
How do you make it crispy?
How do you make it crispy? So after boiling it, it's just time consuming, but yeah, it's worth it. So you so after boiling, let it sit for just to cool down for a few minutes to cool down, and then you shred it, and then you just saute until it's nice and crispy.
Okay.
But now with the air fryer, I think I haven't done it with the air fryer, but I think it would be really, really good if like right now we're making the shrimp rolls and we're using the air fryer for it. And it tastes amazing. So I'm sure with like crispy adobo, you can do the same thing. It will work really well. Okay, I think it might be done. So
It's amazing how fast it cooks.
Yeah, it totally is.
okay, so I want to tell you, rice is an important part of our meal. We cannot eat without rice. I don't think it really is our like. If you notice, our every Filipino household would have this thing here. This is magical. That's the rice cooker. All right, I think it's done. Let me just try it one more time. So right now there's still a bit of sauce. You can stop here as long as the chicken is cooked. Let me just try this. Yeah, no, it's perfect. Wow, that's a good recipe. Okay, let's do this. Here with some rice. We can remove this now. Okay, so this is the sauce, right? So what the coconut milk does is giving it more texture. So the sauce is a bit thicker and creamier. Like it is amazing. All right, there you go.
Wow, looks lovely.
It looks delicious.
Yeah. So
I'm hungry.
It's good food for a rainy season.
so this one is actually they said they know that I love this. So they like families from back home when they visit, they would send me boxes and boxes of this. This is crispy garlic. And so I top it with I use it to top the adobo or any other dishes for that matter. And someone open it. But yeah, so basically it's done. If you want to put some, sometimes as well, I add hard-boiled egg with it, and so yeah, it's also good. You'll see some that's another variation of the adobo. So there you go.
Oh, that looks lovely.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Can I send it to you guys?
Actually, Rose, where is your restaurant in Coquitlam?
In Coquitlam, it's on Glen Drive, where Glen and Johnson. So we're just at the back of Walmart.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to find you. I'm not far from there.
Yeah. No, there's so
It's like a mini mall with a dental office and different restaurants.
I think I know where it is actually. Right on the corner.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's check it out.
So I hope you guys.
I really appreciate that you chose a recipe for people like me that don't cook a lot.
Yeah.
And you made it look quite doable and quite delicious. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I made sure of that. I made sure that, it's not intimidating so that anyone can make it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Oh, okay. By the way, if you guys are planning to go to Kulinarya here, they don't use at the restaurant we don't use coconut milk. It's just the vinegar and soy sauce and what else do we? Yeah, it's just that. But it's just as good. Okay, so because I wanted to put a twist on it. That's why I added coconut milk. And because I love coconut milk. All right. Anything else, you guys?
We should let you go to eat.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I hope you learned something about my culture.
We did. Yes. Thank you very much.